G'day everyone, I'm Tim Thompson. One of the best things about going to shows and field days and farm events is wandering around and having a chat to the ingenious people that come up with all sorts of new ideas to make our lives better. One of the things that's happened with COVID is that we've obviously lost a lot of the access to those shows and events. Well, have no fear, because some ingenious people have been sending me products to review, so let's go for a virtual wander around the field days and let's have a look at 5 products, some of whom are hits and some might even be a miss. Let's get into it. So let's go through our box of tricks. I love this bit. The first item is the debarber. Now you've seen this reviewed on this channel before. I'm including it in this review because it's come out in a brand new all steel version. So I reckon it's gone from being a Christmas present to being a proper tool that you leave in your toolbox and carry around in your ute every day. Now next up is the Quick Wedge wire joiner. Now these guys have been around for a while, but I guarantee that most of you have never seen these before. The next one, this is one of these weeding devices for a brush cutter called the Power Weeder Professional. It's made up in New South Wales. It's made out of metal. Might be okay. We'll stick it on the brush cutter and see how that goes. The next item is a fence strain gauge. Now this guy here is made by Spiral Fast, but what I like about this is it's solid steel with no moving parts. So we'll see how this goes and explore the benefits and features. Then last but not least, if you guys can hang around to the end of the video, I've got a giveaway. One of my most popular videos this year was on the load choker. If you want a hand choking your load, I've got a competition you can enter at the end of this video where you can win yourself your very own load choker. So stick around to the end. Let's have a look through these products. Let's take them out for a play and see how they work. There's a lot of devices around that are going to tell you your fence tension, but I reckon this one's pretty good because of its inherent simplicity. Let's stick it on the wire and see how it works. First off, to attach it to the wire, all you have to do is lift up the one moving part. On this end, there's a bar and a hook. You want the bar underneath the wire, the hook over the wire. Drop him down and let him sit on the wire. These marks here tell you what tension you've got on your wire as you've strained it. They're based on millimeters of diameter, so it doesn't cover gauges. These straining tensions are obviously an estimate of the typical brands of high tensile wire that are out there. There are some wires that the manufacturers claim can go a bit higher, but as a general rule of thumb, this is a pretty easy to use device. And anyone who's used any of the spring-loaded strain gauges knows that they are prone to rust and things like that throw them out over time. This guy is just going to be reasonably accurate all of the time, and quite frankly, it's a doddle to use. Anyone can use it, doesn't need any special skills or training, and it gives you a fairly good indication of where your arm is in terms of straining tension. Not a bad little product. It has its limitations, but so does everything, and I think for the sake of the fact that it's just so rugged and tough, it's worth putting in your toolbox. Now this next product's really interesting. This is a product that didn't make it on the market. It's been around for a while, didn't sell, and from what I understand, they've ceased to manufacture it. There is still some stock around that you can buy. John Pickard put me onto this because he found the story really interesting. It's a wire joining device. Now we'll have a look at the product first. It's pretty simple. There's a wedge that is connected with a small break off to a block. You put the 2 wires through the block and you drive the wedge between them. The wedge squeezes them in the block and holds the wire still. Let's try it out and see if it works on our 2.5mm high tensile wire. So now it comes time to join the 2 wires together. What we want to do is slide the 2 wires parallel to each other through the block using the 2 sets of slots that are on this thing. Then with our tab facing downwards, we break off the wedge and pop the wedge in through the top of the block, centered between the 2 wires. Then, using a pair of very wide pliers, we push down while keeping the wires as close together as possible. And it takes quite a bit of force to actually get that block seated home. I wouldn't like to think that everyone could use this because you actually have to be able to grip quite tightly. When we let the strainers go, now when I let those strainers go, the wedge actually fell out. No, I honestly can't get it to go in. I'm happy at the end of this video to actually have a giveaway and give away a few of these along with the load choker, just to see if anyone else out there can make these darn things work, because right now I'm about ready to throw it through the camera. So regular viewers of the channel will be familiar with this little device, the debarber. Happily, I've got some great news. I did actually suggest just before Christmas last year that this would be a good stocking stuffer, but I wondered about the rigidity of the plastic. Well, looks like the problem's been solved. They've come out with a fully metal one, and this is fantastic because it's a good little device that makes your fencing with barbed wire a hell of a lot easier, and I would say even safer. You simply line up the two wheels so that the slots are facing each other, and you put the wire into the two slots. Now the trick is you want your barb to be in the middle of the debarber. Once you've got your barb in there, just turn the small wheel a few times, don't turn the large one. Now the only bit that you need to hold your tongue right sometimes is lining the slots up to pull the wire back out, because one of the little barb bits can actually get caught in there. Take this off. I've now debarbed that stretch of wire. I can do a regular normal fencing knot in here without a barb getting in the way halfway through the knot. I reckon this is going to make your fencing knots with barbed wire a whole hell of a lot easier. So if you work with barbed wire a lot and you find it really annoying that the barbs are always getting in the way of your knots, the debarber, now that it's fully metal and tough and strong, is probably worth a look at again. Head over to my website, timthompson.ag, and have a look at the products that I'm featuring today. Let's get on to the next one. Now we get to try out the power weeder from powerweeder.com. Looks like there's some instructions. Oh, that's good. All right, so the selling point of this power weeder is that it's really good around fragile plants, and it allows you to weed right up to them. It cultivates the soil and gets rid of the plants. To be honest with you, normally I just use a herbicide, but if I get to use my power tools and play with them, and this thing works, well then I might not have to use as much herbicide in the future around the garden, so that's probably a good thing. The cool part about using this tool is it's allowing me to even see where my irrigation line is without cutting it, and I can go right up to plants with the edge of this tool and not cut the plant at all. I don't know if you noticed when I started out this thing, I was actually a little bit cynical about this product. I thought, oh yeah, it's another one of those cheap, nasty gadgets that they sell at field days, but it actually works. Let's go and try it in the vineyard. It's raining a bit, but that's a good test. I reckon for a small amount of money, this is a really useful tool to put on the end of your brush cutter and do a bit of weeding. You get to play with your power tools and you cut down on herbicides around the house. That's got to be a good thing. Might be worth considering. It's powerweeder.com. By the way guys, if you like this video and you find it useful and you want to support the channel, please hit the little subscribe button down there, give it a thumbs up. You've got no idea how much that helps. And now to our giveaway, the fabulous load choker. Those of you that saw my review on this will know how good it is. If you haven't seen the review, do yourself a favour, head over to my website, timthompson.ag, and have a look at the review on this little piece of kit. It could save your load going wandering. Okay, so what do we have to do to get our free load choker? Head over to timthompson.ag, sign up to the website and leave your best story about a funny load, a weird load, something that went wrong. I'll judge those stories, and the best story, no matter where you are in the world, will be posted out a load choker. The competition closes 2 weeks from today, the publication date of this video. Get onto it and I will announce the winner on my Facebook page, timthompsonmedia.com.au. See you around guys. I'm looking forward to reading the stories and I hope that you win the load choker. It's a fantastic piece of kit.